Hazardous work on the pipeline system is authorised using a permit to work system. A permit to work is required for any work performed on the right-of-way containing pipeline systems, at facilities within the compound fences of any plant worksite, and on supervisory control and data acquisition or SCADA system, or an associated control system, where there is potential to impact the operation or functionality of plant. A permit to work may not be required for some low-hazard activities or work within designated non-permit areas. You should confirm requirements with a SEAGAS representative. If you require a permit to work, this will be arranged by a trained permit issuing officer. Each section of the permit to work must be filled in correctly before work commences and at the conclusion of the work. The permit issuing officer and working party must be accurately documented, and if the permit to work is transferred to another permit holder, then this information must be recorded on the permit to work. The permit to work details the task and specific conditions for the work. All isolations must be recorded on the permit. The results of any atmospheric testing or gas monitoring must also be recorded. When working in a confined space, the permit can also be used to log personnel entering or leaving the confined space. If there is a permit to work open at a site, you will be required to review the job hazard analysis and permit conditions and sign on to the permit to work when you arrive at the site to carry out work. If more than one permit to work is open at a site, you must review the relevant job hazard analysis documentation and sign on to all open permits, and you must sign off all permits. You must at all times comply with safety directions provided by a permit holder and operate in accordance with the conditions on the permit to work. Failure to comply with critical safety or environmental requirements will result in the work being stopped and the work permit withdrawn until the site has been made safe. A SEAGAS representative will highlight site-specific information before you commence work. This will include facility hazards and restricted areas, all safety equipment including first aid kit and eye wash facility locations, firefighting appliances, radio telephone use, site alerts and the action that should be taken following an alert, environmental considerations, location and use of spill kits, emergency procedures including evacuation, emergency egress and muster points, vehicle parking arrangements, amenities and designated smoking areas outside of facilities. SEAGAS facilities have defined hazardous areas where an explosive atmosphere could be present. Hazardous areas are detailed on drawings which are available on site. Working in hazardous areas requires the use of gas detection equipment to ensure that the work area is safe. Never assume that you'll be able to recognise the smell of natural gas. A hot work permit is required to bring any equipment into a hazardous area that is not intrinsically safe. This includes vehicles, cranes, cameras, torches and power tools. Where it is necessary to shut down equipment to inspect, test, repair or carry out maintenance, it must have its energy sources isolated to ensure the safety of those persons performing the work. The SEAGAS isolation and tagging procedure describes the steps that must be followed to isolate plant. Shut the plant down. Identify all energy sources and hazards. Isolate energy sources. De-energize all stored energy sources. Positively lock out and tag all isolation points. Tag plant controls, energy sources and other hazards. And verify effectiveness of isolations. You must obtain SEAGAS authority before isolating any operating plant that will impact on customer supply. Only trained and competent personnel can place or remove locks and tags. Prior to leaving site, you must notify the SEAGAS System Control Centre of any locked out or tagged equipment, and you must record any lock or tag placement in the site register. Personal danger locks or tags must be removed before leaving the worksite. failure to comply with the isolation and tagging procedures will lead to disciplinary action.